Good evening, stardust and comet trails, and welcome to an existentially dreadful new session of Blood from a Stone, a tale of love and dread in RPG. Hi, my name's Philip. I'm the Dreadmaster. With me are two of my favorite people in the world. Oh, I mean 3 of my favorite people in the world. One more's popping in.
There we
Hello!
go.
Hello. We are live, by the way, just so you're aware.
Oh, great.
Hello. Welcome. So you don't say any of the stuff you usually say. Yes, but we just went so. Yes, I was just saying, welcome to a fun game here. We've been off for a week. Honestly, we went the longest we ever went on this channel without a game. We haven't played a game since the Tuesday before last, just because of a combination of availabilities and new things in the pipeline being worked on. So I'm very happy to get back into it here with another trip back to good old Rocket Base 95, back to this sort of mosaic storytelling we do here in Blood from a Stone, our game about sort of all manner of the Dreadlands and the horrors they contain. I do think for today's game, I probably need to give a bit more of a specific recap.
Might as well.
Because, I vaguely remember what had happened 2 weeks ago in the world, let alone in this game. Let
me just say, something happened to me on Saturday, this past Saturday.
Okay.
And I was like, was this 2 or 3 weeks ago? And I'm like, no, it was within this week. So yes, I tell you.
Days ago. What about you, Andrew? Are you having any weird relationships with time right now?
I always had a weird relationship with time. I mean, this is just like, I'm just happy that everyone else is caught up to me now. Where it's just like, we all have no idea. Last year was 2019. The year before that was 2015. 10 years ago was 1990. 20 years ago.
That's where they get you.
The 90s were definitely 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, that's really where they get you.
Yeah.
You say a few years ago, and I'll kind of believe whatever time you say. But with longer things, I feel like it is 2010.
Yeah, it should be.
I had to ask someone how old I am. Because I was like, I don't know.
I've had to do that
I feel 27, but
I've had to do that a few times.
I don't know about you, Lauren, but I'm feeling 22.
Oh gosh, you and Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
The woman who's destroying the planet by flying everywhere on her private jet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care about celebrities anymore.
I did hear about her doing that, and I was like, come on, Tay-Tay. Anyway, so
what a joyous way to start.
Let's talk a little bit about God knows what. We are currently, we're sort of in part 3 of what is honestly probably a 3-part sort of little tale here. In Rocket Base 95, which is a Dreadland of a sort of sci-fi, it's kind of a tense place. Magic is very limited here. There seems to be something going on with strange artificial intelligences. Rawlings and Dahlia from previously other planes have actually managed to be abducted by the Velderal aliens who dwelled here, and they have been here with them for a while. But after many sort of trips around, encounters with Mistwalkers, learning about the sort of the Mistbreakers and the Alliance of the Pearl, all sorts of big picture things about the nature of these Dreadlands and the fact that the 13 Dreadlands each have a Dark Lord who sort of controls it but is also tormented there. We saw a pretty climactic thing happen back in Hysteles. We saw another pretty climactic thing happen back in Merkshire as well, in a couple of sort of more focused games. But now, we have turned our lens to Rocket Base 95 once again, where Rawlings, a gentleman who came from Merkshire, found himself awakening in a strange kind of like isolation room with two other individuals, one of whom was known to him, an android named Pascal, who he had actually not seen since Pascal walked through a door that had appeared in the midst of an installation on a planet underneath something called the Shroud.
It was a portal.
It was in fact a portal, but it appeared as like a wooden door at the time. Purple mist roiling through it. Then they were also joined by an Oubli ET, or an Oubliette. Her name was Juliette the Oubliette. Over the course of two sort of sessions, or actually, at first it began to be clear that Pascal was being sort of tormented with his inability to transmit, which is, as an android, his primary purpose. Pieces of him have been removed, and in fact, he shut down as this was going on. Rawlings, meanwhile, was being tormented with food. And not just any food. A massive amount of food that was quite familiar to him. A meal that he once read about and became sort of permanently terrified of. A meal called the Taste of Paradise. Rawlings has been served the amuse-bouche, the appetizer, the salad, the soup. And very unhelpfully, Juliette the Oubliette tried to drink the one part of that soup that would have been no problem for Rawlings. In any case, amidst this unknown to these individuals within, Elutella had stowed away on the vessel that Rawlings had taken away from the Shroud, that was picked up by Arlington Grith Corporation supplies when he was sort of dosed with something and brought in here. She snuck off, and over the course of several hours, she has kind of like, after hiding for a long time, she had a communication with an entity she is pretty sure was the Awareness, who spoke to her over computer monitors. The problem, and Elutella, I know, this was a thing, I know, Laura, this was a thing you were not as familiar with as a concept, but Elutella knew all about. The reason that the Awareness was glad that she was here is that Rawlings and Pascal, to the Awareness's best of its knowledge, are trapped in something that is air-gapped from the rest of the Arlington Grith networks. In other words, Elutella has realized that the Awareness is not able to get into a network that is not connected to the other networks. So Elutella was tasked with sneaking her way in, which she did, at which point she has now sort of met up with a sort of an interesting guy. He's sort of intense. He also happens to be a person who, unbeknownst to any of you, recruited Juliette the Oubliette for this process. That's just for anyone who saw session 1. None of these players know that, but I'm saying that for the audience because that was revealed to the audience, that she joined this to be their woman on the inside, but now she is being tormented more than any of the others. Elutella, upon being brought in there, was kind of confronted by this gentleman. She tried to pass it off like she was meant to be here. He explained, "There's no way that's true. You would have a physical clearance, because that's how we do things in the air-gapped, like, test zone here." But since he sort of knew who she was surprised she wasn't killed, she was presumed dead. He asked about Annette Young. She said, "It's complicated." He had to just take that as an answer. He then said, "Well, you might as well make yourself useful." And he took her to somewhere where some micro drones were leaving a main drone, giving her data packets. Now, so far, she had, there were 6 data packets thus far that she was looking through. And though she has not been able to sort of figure out what is wrong and why the files are not being loaded, she can tell that this is something interesting, something unusual, and whatever goal she has here for the Awareness, which was basically to get in here and get this information, she wants to accomplish this goal, but for the time being, she is simply wrapped up in trying to understand what it is. 6 unique data packets have been sent from a drone that is watching above this chamber to the observation module. But Juliet the Oubliette, while Pascal is still shut down, while Rawlings is beginning to try to carve a massive steak he's been served and turn it into yet another smoothie using wine, Juliet flashed upon her own personal phobia, that of a serial killer named Mr. Unzipper, who killed her very college roommate back when she was a college-age student. I should point out, because I want to, that that's what an oubliette looks like.
I'm not gonna say it.
What's on top of them are sensor sacks.
That oubliette needs to go to the doctor to get checked for chlamydia or something.
Nah, this oubliette's a normal one. What's at the bottom are appendage sacks. Listen, guys, sacks on sacks on sacks. The point, Saks Fifth Avenue, baby.
Steve Sachs, former player for the baseball Dodgers of Los Angeles.
All right, so in any
These
case,
sacks are the worst thing that's ever happened to me in this game. I'm just
In any
gonna say
case,
that now.
as
I've been through a lot.
as Juliet witnessed this horrible image of the flesh being sliced, she could only think of Mr. Unzipper carving her up. There actually is, I should also mention, there's these 13 cabinets that have been falling down presenting all this stuff. And one of the cabinets that flopped open does in fact contain an oubliette corpse that has been carved open as if by Mr. Unzipper. So it's pretty grim and gross in here. The point of all of this is that she broke down in absolute terror, kind of collapsing to the ground. With her sensor sacks looking in all directions, she could not help but notice, though she couldn't process it, that a seventh purple light ignited in the drone. Seems to happen every time people fail the rather high value resist fear rolls that are being called for. And Elutella, shortly after this, another micro drone leaves the main drone to bring you a seventh data packet.
Interesting. Do we have any power cubes?
We'll get to that if you find any, but you'll all find 3 power cubes. We won't. I guess we won't go through it. Sure, everyone finds 3 power cubes, but the dread clock.
Look at this convenient tray of power cubes.
The dread clock stands at 6.
Mm-hmm.
The count above is at 7.
No.
Curious is all I have to say about it. With that, I believe, is there any other thing I should have? I think that's a rather long recap we had to do tonight.
I think there's only one thing we're waiting on before we get planned.
Then we shall bring you tonight's invocation. Have you ever seen fire in 0 gravity? It's beautiful. It's like liquid. Slides all over everything. Comes up in waves. And they just kept hitting him. Wave after wave. Pascal.
2000. Oh.
Pascal. It is not. It's not that. Pascal, you have power cycled twice. You turn back on as your audio sensors and your sort of video sensors reactivate. You can hear the oubliette now speaking in her own strange language, muttering intensely. She's basically collapsed on the ground. As you glance up, you see that Rawlings is in the midst of basically slicing beef like into a tureen of soup, and he's poured wine into that, and you don't really know what he's up to. But you also, I'll just say, because you do have a pretty high sense talent, you glance up and you see that drone is still, about 30 meters outside of the top window in empty space, but there are now 7 purple lights, and you think there's it's around halfway full, like a little past halfway, you know, like maybe there's 7 more, maybe there's 5 more. You're not sure how many more lights turn on. You'd guess between 7 and 5. So you notice this, you see Rawlings, who seems to be sort of crazed. Rawlings is also, kind of like probably like pretty messy with food on the sort of jumpsuit that you're all wearing. You also notice that some of those white walls are stained with like red that's flecked with strange material. So that is what you witness. Rawlings is meanwhile just slicing beef. Extremely raw, but extremely burned beef.
Extremely raw, but extremely burned?
Correct. In fact, you know what, Pascal? I'm not sure if you'll have a specific thing for this, otherwise it'll just be a, I don't think you would necessarily have a, try and recall information. It's 3D for you. 3d6s. And remember, one of them must be your dread die. That is a separate thing. I should mention that to all players, etc. Yeah.
When you get a 6 on the dread right, it explodes, yeah?
You get to roll it again. Yes.
And you get to roll it again.
Correct, Mundo.
Great. Well, I had 12, and then I rolled another again, and I rolled a 1.
Okay, so there's many levels of good news here. First of all, the good news is we have a 13. Hooray. So in this game, if anybody's new to this game, a natural 13 means we advance the beautiful dread clock.
Yeah, baby!
And suddenly the dread clock stands at 7, just like the lights above. That's the first thing that happens. Now, the good news for you is that because when it explodes, if you then roll a 1 on it, it doesn't cancel anything out. You just stop rolling it. So we have it on a 13. Can you please roll a D13 if you have your D13 handy? But we now have synergy between the thing above and the thing below. What'd you roll?
Did you do it?
Andrew.
13?
Oh, boy.
I love it. All right. Andrew, could you please do me a favor, good sir, and roll the D13 one more time?
He had to leave.
He's like, and I'm out, I'm done.
3.
A 3. Oh. That will be really interesting here. Okay, fair enough. So Pascal, you try. So the sort of like silver lining here is with a 13, I'm gonna actually say I'm just gonna give it to you that you've passed the totally irrelevant recall information I was having you make to summon wonders upon us. Said situation here, Pascal, is that you seem to recall some humans liking their steak as something called black and blue. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is. So you're like, oh, how weird. It's a black and blue steak.
It's so funny because I was literally about to say, oh, is it like a black and blue steak? And then, yeah.
But instead we rolled dice and everything was amazing.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Rawlings. I'm going to put a quick trigger warning with some of the food stuff because we've had some upsetting food
Yeah, it's fine.
last time. Okay. So, Rawlings, you as he says this, he's just kind of looking up. As you're sort of cutting into the meat, your knife hits something inside of the beef.
Was there supposed to be a bone in there?
Though this is a bone-in cut, you were slicing through like a pure part of the steak, and you sort of kind of like look in, and inside of this steak, there is a small. It's about the size of like an M&M. It's this like hard kind of round, egg-looking thing.
No. Does it look biological or technological in nature?
Make a if you have a mental talent you'd like to use specifically. I don't think it's probably not research. So just investigate's fine.
Okay. Oh, that's 12, 17, 24.
24. This looks significantly more biological than technological. This looks like perhaps some kind of like parasite in the meat. You wouldn't know about specific parasites in this place, but
have I eaten any of the meat yet?
No, you've been cutting it.
Okay,
You have not.
okay.
You've been cutting it to make it, but as you sliced through this, you sort of glance over. You have a pretty decent sense, right? Yeah. 3D plus what? Yeah, that'll be fine enough for its standing. You slice into it, and as you've moved it, you're like, do you pull it out, or are you just looking at it?
I already am afraid of food, and there's something unknown in here, and that is not good. So I'm like, hesitant about it.
So you're kind of stepping back, but as you notice, a kind of unpleasant thing happens to the large piece of steak you haven't touched at all, as it kind of just goes.
Oh, I'm moving the fuck away.
As you step away. Juliet the oubliette is kind of like on the floor freaking out, like curled up into what for an oubliette is the fetal position. But as you're sort of moving away, Pascal, you sort of see him back away suddenly. And as you two are just sort of, presumably Pascal just kind of getting your bearings. Elutella, you in the control room.
Yes.
You see one of the guys who's like kind of like just like one of like these people like watching the, like looking up at the out at the drone. You're at the packet, but you hear one of them say, "That's weird." And Pascal and Rawlings, the red light that is at the center of the drone above you turns purple, like the lights that are surrounding it. Elutella, you see some sort of movement, kind of confusion. And what is your sense score, Elutella?
Sense.
It's probably pretty high for you, actually.
It's 3D.
3D. Go ahead and roll a sense roll for me.
Okay.
Poor Pascal just woke up and thought something and triggered the dread. I feel bad. Welcome back to Blood from a Stone, everybody. 11?
12.
12. With a 12, there's so much kind of going on. You see some like confusion, and they're all walking, and one of them's like, "What is this doing?" Yeah.
My dread die exploded.
Oh, roll a 1 on it then. Did you roll a 1?
I did.
Cool. Roll a. Okay. So interestingly.
Yes!
So first of all, Pascal and Rawlings, you see that main light turn purple, and then you see an 8th light light up next to the 7 that are already around the ring. Elutella, please roll me a d13.
I need to get it. You remember earlier when you were like, statistically, it should have happened, and I was like, well, statistically, random batshit crazy shit
I
happens
know,
on
you're
this
right.
channel all the
But
time.
I know. I'm sorry. But I do
This
believe in
is bad.
miracles is the point. Everything's great. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Everybody calm down. It's an 11.
okay. So we don't have two horror surges going, but we do get to advance our little friend up. To the 8th. And interestingly, there is now an 8th data packet that seems to be like being created by there. And the drone above you now has this additional light lit up. Pascal and Rawlings, as you're looking around, Elutella, you see this kind of like weirdness, and I think you maybe even see the color of the lights on the drone, and they're all asking what the hell. And the guy who brought you in, the sort of intense dude with the tattoos, he kind of turns back. Is like, "Have you gotten anywhere yet on that data?"
I don't believe so. Perhaps if you fill me in as to what is happening currently, I might be able to assist.
He sets down the piece of steak that he was eating, and kind of like on a thing, and like walks to the window and goes, just keep looking. And he says something screwy with the drone. We might have to send somebody out here. We might have to abort this whole project. And as they're moving, they, if you recall last week, so conveniently, a bunch of them, they brought out some steak that they had cooked, like extra steak that they brought for the guys in the control room. Elutella, I don't know that you were offered any, or
I was not.
Probably kind of, but so they set the steak down. And Elutella, as you go back to work, our camera lingers on that piece of steak that he was eating. And it just also kind of just, one little dot from inside of it just kind of goes.
So the information that I was getting from the system was talking about this food, right?
No. The information you were getting from the system is code that you are trying to parse.
Oh,
They're
okay.
doing something with food and they have not told you what it is in the slightest.
Okay, can I see if I can expedite trying to read the code?
Sure, you can dig into reading the code. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Rawlings, you are backing away from the meat. Juliet is on the ground, freaking out. Pascal, what are you doing? As you look up, and now it is purple light. Kind of the light of that drone has turned purple. Everything's staring into it.
Do I see anything in this room that might be transmitting to this drone? Anything that might be communicating with it?
Understood. I want you to go ahead and do a make a transmit roll, because this is your area of expertise. This is like you understanding how this would work. So go ahead and roll that technical ability.
I'm gonna go ahead and use 3 power cubes.
3 power cubes. So you're rolling 8D on this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Love it.
Oh no, that's horrible. 22.
A 22 is very good. I will say that you look around, the room seems to be completely cut off. I'll tell you what, in addition to this, please give me an analyze roll.
Okay.
Kind of, it's like you've done this and you've gleaned information, but let's see if you can, you won't need as high a roll, but this might push you over the edge of kind of figuring out a bunch of stuff.
Oh. $24.
It's funny when you roll way fewer dice and get the higher number, right? Yeah.
Well, I had an explosion, so that was a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's always you're like, well, why the hell did I use all those power cubes then? With these sort of two kind of, so basically, and this really makes sense. This is what you're good at, even though the pieces have been taken away. You're looking around and you're saying, okay, I didn't find any hidden mics. I didn't find any hidden cameras. There is clearly one drone above us, and then you realize, looking at that drone, the drone is actually receiving no transmissions in here other than what its own sensors are picking up. The drone is observing you at a distance with no other sense in this chamber. You suspect that sound is being recorded by the drone through like sonic vibration sensors. So there's no mics, there's no cameras, there's no anything. And as you analyze this situation, there is only one reason they'd be doing that.
Reality TV.
Reality TV. No. There's only one reason they'd be doing that. You are in an air-gapped situation. You are off the network.
Oh.
That drone, and in fact, I'll even give you this because of how high those rolls are. You look up, and sure enough, you see this little, like black shadow just half obscure one of the distant stars behind it. There are mini drones that are physically ferrying data somewhere, probably in very close range, but they're not even there's no radio transmissions of any kind. The drone is recording, and then the drone is sending. Physical. Hard material.
Okay. Well, I'll let everyone else know that. And
Oh my God, Pascal, you're awake.
oh, good morning.
There's something moving in the meat.
I think we should just ignore it. I think we should just ignore all of this. I think we should be quite quiet. Or I think that we should make a lot of noise.
There's something moving in the meat.
Yeah, I mean,
If you don't care to go check it out, go investigate it yourself. I will not go near that.
At this point, Pascal, as you just glance over, kind of in response...
I'm still holding the carving knife in my hand.
You are. At this point, Pascal, as you glance over at the steak, you do notice that, like, the little flap of steak that he'd half cut is now, it begins to, like, move on its own. And in fact, you see a couple of little, like, the steak is not moving, but it seems like there's just, like, as if somebody underneath it was just poking it up from various spots. You see a few spots moving inside. And, this, as much as you're saying we should ignore all of this, you suddenly have a realizing of, okay, so maybe this could be a problem. But it is at this point I actually need, I'm going to have it be sort of, odds are it would be this way. So actually, can all of you please just roll 4D for me? You don't have to use an exploding die. Just roll 4D.
11.
11.
12.
1, 4? Okay, so basically I was 14?
14.
11, 12, 14. Ooh, you guys skated around it. I was giving it more opportunity because there's more meat in there. But as it turns out, you guys are like, something's about to happen. We cut back to the room as all of these guys are looking up. And Elutella, you hear like a grunting sound from one of the people at a thing. And he's got a piece of steak in his mouth, and he's like choking. And there's kind of a couple of the other people are looking back like, huh, what? Go ahead, Elutella.
Does it appear that he was attempting to consume the steak, or that the steak was attempting to consume him?
Right now, all you see is a man with a fork choking, and like a piece of steak on the ground. But he's like on like his plate. He's like at one of the stations, you know, just like clicking stuff. But he's like, and the other guys are looking, and someone's like, "Are you choking?" And that's when Elutella, you see this white burrowing, sort of like maggot-like face just stick out of his neck as it burrows out of him. And then, Elutella, you see more of these little kind of things beginning to... You hear cracking sounds within the meat as the meat moves, and little, these kind of like 2-inch long maggots begin spiraling up.
Spiraling in the air?
Spiraling out of the meat.
I would like to hover immediately. I don't want to be...
You know what? You do actually have the ability to fly up. So basically, as the people down here begin shouting as these things, and you hear somebody basically screaming like, "Parasite! The beef had a fucking parasite!" As like these things are sort of like jumping up at them. You see a couple of ray gun shots are going off, but it's pandemonium below you. But your plan is to fly up. That's correct.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Understood. Go ahead then and make a physical to see just your endurance to do that.
Oh gosh. Okay.
You can spend power cubes.
That is a 9.
A 9. You fly up and you're like, and then
oh no.
you know that you can't keep this up that long.
Okay.
We're going to cut back to the other room. Rawlings and Pascal, you see the meat beginning to move a little more aggressively. And Rawlings, you see that piece that you had cut, like you hear a cracking sound. And suddenly this kind of like, this maggot begins to like burrow up from the flap that you'd cut. And kind of like looks around just... And kind of just one end of its sort of pulsing white body kind of just looks at all of you, and it begins slithering down and falls onto the ground and begins arcing towards both of you.
I would like to grab a bowl and put it over the thing.
Understood. Go ahead and that'll be just a physical then. If you...
I'm gonna spend 2 power cubes on this.
Understood. As you're kind of just trying to grab a thing, it will roll sort of a dodge basically.
Okay. 16.
16. You beat it, but not by much. You manage to stick a bowl on top of it.
Yeah.
Kind of just like grabbing one of the bowls. You do it, Pascal. You see that now there actually may be some more imminent danger. The bowl...
Pascal, please help.
The bowl begins to move. And that is when 4 more are emerging from the beef in front of you and Pascal.
Well, I think I shall throttle them.
Understood. So Pascal, you'll sort of rush over. Understood. All right.
I'd like to do it as calmly as possible.
Yeah, you're kind of just keeping yourself. So basically, Rawlings, you let back. Pascal goes over. Pascal, go ahead and, you can do one of your, brawl roll. That's 3 dice for you.
Okay. That is 9.
This one, oh boy, I'm even gonna just to make this sort of like gross, this thing like slithers up onto your arm as you like slam down on the first one, and it begins crawling up your arm, and it is now going to, so why don't you now make a dodge roll for me as it tries to bite into you. So your dodge is also 3D.
That's 9.
So it bites into your flesh, and your synth flesh is just like completely ripped away. It stops on your metal, but I do actually need you to make a resist injury.
Okay. What happens if you explode twice? You just keep rolling?
As long as the 6 keeps coming, you keep going.
35.
Whoa!
So, then in that case, Pascal, with a 35, that's damn good. I'm going to tell you that you sort of have this, I'm going to give you, like, information from your injury resistance. This thing bites into you, and you kind of, like, it hits at, like, it's kind of just hitting along the thing. There's no, like, vital systems near it, and it's not getting it, but you are detecting that there's a pretty acidic quality to its bite. So, in theory, these things actually can harm you. But this one has failed to do so, but you think it would just be easily burrowing into Rawlings, or Juliet on the ground. Nevertheless, you said you were going to attack a bunch of them. I'm going to let you make one more attack roll against, you have 2 hands, basically.
Great. Oh. 1.
A 1?
I rolled 3 ones.
There you go. So yes, the 3 ones that cuts down to 1. So again, this one dodges, and now this one and 2 of the others are kind of jumping on you. So for this, I'm just gonna say, go ahead and just give me another resist injury roll for kind of this. We're gonna account for the one you just had, but these are all pretty high. I'm just gonna 13. So,
yeah.
Fun fact, we go up to 9.
I like how we're catching up. The Fates are punishing us for missing a session.
Exactly. They really are. So if you could please roll your D13.
2.
Yep.
2.
Okay.
So as you do that, but the other thing you do notice, Pascal, is that as you are trying to resist this stuff, I'm gonna do a I roll a 12 on the, I'm just saying that, yeah. Basically, again, you're able to not take any damage from this stuff, though now there are basically 4 of these things on you, and fortunately you can't dodge them, but you're getting them into your sort of like less, dangerous vital systems, so they're just kind of like burning off synth flesh. You notice that the 9th light ignites above you. It's hard for you to understand as an android what it is that's happening, as there's some strange now correlation between what's going on above now going on below. Rawlings, let's just up the ante here a little bit, my dear friend. You see these things bursting out of food. You imagine this happening inside your body. You've already eaten a bunch of food. What if it's all been this? Rawlings, give me a resist fear.
3, cool. That is 10.
Cool. You were looking for 25. So with that, a 10th light ignites and this goes up. The dread clock and that thing are linked right now. There is no, however, roll for there's no roll for a horror surge from that, but basically a 10th light ignites. At this point, you're probably Rawlings. You're just freaking out. Pascal, you notice one, and then another one's gone. Now there's definitely only 3 left, and the center purple one is getting more bright. Elutella, below you, I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna roll once for some men. Okay. It's actually a pretty damn good roll. And once for some monsters. It's a better roll. All right, I'm going to roll a resist injury for some men.
Okay.
Okay, so that gets rid of that was a 1 on the dread die, so that gets rid of a 6 they had. So, all right, then I'm just going to roll the injury from the monsters.
Yikes.
I rolled, on their 3D they do, I rolled 2 6s and a 5.
Well...
So, Elutella, you see that all the pieces of steak are now, kind of exploding, and the maggot that had been in that one guy's, the weird, worm thing that had been in the one guy's neck is just moving to others. And you, meanwhile, are sort of, drifting perilously down. There's a couple, it's absolute madness, pandemonium below you. People are pulling out ray guns and, accidentally shooting each other as they're, it's kind of, but I am going to roll specifically for our dude, for our one guy. Let's see if he can sort of, make a dodge or get out of the way or sort of do this, the tattooed man. Okay, he rolls a 15. So let's see if any monsters can get him with that. Probably not. Well, maybe they can, because I have a 6, a 5, and a 1, so that's 12, and the 6 was an explode. So if I roll 3 or higher, this guy's getting attacked.
Okay.
I roll another 6.
Well.
Then I roll a 5. So basically, he looks up and he's kind of looking at you and he's reaching for you. And he's like, stay up. I don't what the hell did you bring in? He's kind of making no sense. This shouldn't be. And then you see his face and he looks down as one of these things burrows into his shin. And he kind of it's into his shin, into his calf. And as he's you then sort of see him doubled over as it comes out his hip. And then turns back up, and then you see it kind of entering his chest cavity, and he falls. And now you're just barely above. And
is there anything I can grab onto on the walls? Or can I perch on something?
To perch on something up there. I like that. Yes. Make an analyze roll. What's your safest point?
Okay.
Not good.
That was a 1, and I only had a 4 as the highest, so that is a 4.
You don't see anything. It's all smooth. It's just
the Charlie Willy Wonka.
Yeah, you're trying to wedge yourself, and you just slide your hand, and it's just nothing. And you feel your wings giving out. And Elutella, there's this moment in which you're up there like and you feel your wings giving out, and then you see like as these things are moving through the now growing still bodies on the ground, that kind of in unison, these we'll say 5 white 2-inch maggots all just kind of like all stand up, coated in blood and viscera, and just their eyes all turn directly to you above. Please make a resist fear roll.
Okay. Where is that? Oh, 2D. Okay. Let's get.
Oh, you have 2D. Okay, you maybe don't even need to roll this, but go ahead.
Can't. Oh, I have to add the freaking power cubes before.
You do if you want to now. You can. It's fine.
I would like to add 2.
Okay, go ahead.
16.
16.
Yes.
You sort of manage to like keep your cool even though you feel yourself drifting down, and you understand they're sort of coming for you there.
Can I shoot them with my ray gun?
Sure, you can pull out your ray gun.
Okay.
As you drift down.
Okay. Okay. Still not too bad. 10, 14. 17.
17. They will try to dodge. They definitely don't roll a 17, so you take out a couple of them. There's only 3 left. Cutting back to Rawlings and Pascal.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm writing my dumb little note so I get for the
I'm alternately screaming, let us out, and also, the focus is here! The focus is
Let us out, the focus is here. Oh my god. So, Rawlings, as you're doing this, Pascal, you have 4 of them on you, but you're managing to, like, resist most of their effects. You can keep sort of trying to kill them. There's one that is moving around in a bowl, Rawlings. And I really try not to do this, but I think in this context, this is kind of how things would go. Rawlings, you notice 2 more emerging from, like, right at the bone end of the stake. I'm going to have them make a sense roll. It's pretty high. As they sort of are looking up and, like, they sort of seem to notice you, they begin climbing kind of across the stake and falling off the table onto the prone body of Juliette the Oubliette. I try not to kill people when they're not here, but
Oh, I was if they were coming for me, I would have hidden behind the prone body of Juliette.
Like, corpse, eat a person, eat an alien. So they're gonna start tearing into her. Pascal, do you want to try to kind of smush them again?
I would like to see if I can take the ones, transfer these ones, and like smash these acidic bodies against the weakest point in the wall.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Tell you what, first make an analyze. Or a calculate if that's better for you. I think they're both the same for you. Oh no, analyze is a little better. So yeah, 4D.
Analyze is better, yeah. Okay. 15.
The only idea of a weak point in the wall you could see is maybe at like the joint or joist of these cabinets that have opening up all these untold horrors. So yes, you figure that maybe by trying to slam them into that, you could kill them and maybe weaken the wall. Please make a physical roll.
Okay.
Wow.
It's okay. $13.
13.
No!
Yeah, baby!
Please roll the D13.
Please don't roll another 13.
Yeah, I think another 13, that would be a lot. I mean, it totally could happen, but oh, Andrew, it's been a lot tonight.
You've been
What do we got?
boon to us, Andrew.
4.
4. Love it. All right, so we've had 5 tonight. This is so exciting. So basically, as you sort of, but the good news for you is a 13 with your physical thing. They rolled a 1 on their dread die, and a 1 on the other die, on the lower die, so they have a 1 at their dodging. So I think they were like moving around your body to avoid your arms, and I'm just gonna say with a 13 to 1, you slam all 4 of them like bodily into the wall at the point of the sort of most prominent open cabinet, which would be the one that the meat is on. So as you slam into them, you can feel all 4 of them just like squelch against the wall, splitting. This acid, Rawlings, you smell an intense acidic burning, much like the acidic content of your stomach right now as it roils in response to this grossness. But as you sort of slam them, Pascal, you know what? Your impact is not strong enough on the wall, but you have just slammed something acidic against that point. And as you sort of back away and are like scraping them off, there are like 4 kind of splotches, 2 of them pretty prominently like sort of slightly corroding that like, you know, that material there. So almost as if maybe you guys could break out through that. Yes. There are 3 left in the room. 1 is under a bowl. 2 are
Juliet, right?
Into Juliet, which I'm gonna roll a resist injury for her, but nope. That's I rolled a 1 on the. I don't think she's gonna make it, guys. I feel bad.
Goodbye, Snacks.
I feel really bad. Liv is not here, and Juliet was a fun character. She was a fortune teller. So you now smell the sickening smell of burst fluid sacs as these interior parts of an oubliette are sort of coming out. You know what though? Just to make things bad, and since this is since I'm rolling a player thing, 13s will count for me if I roll any. Just to be a twerp. Well, just to be a twerp here, I am going to do one last resist fear on her behalf, as she feels herself being unzippered by these creatures.
Aww.
No, she actually explodes her die. She explodes it again, so that's 12, 15 plus. For the first time, somebody rolls the 25 in that room to successfully resist fear. So,
Ooh.
Juliet the oubliette
goes to her death unafraid.
Technically, no, she's only incapacitated at this point. But she drops onto unconsciousness. If you guys don't save her, she's absolutely dead. But, yeah, she goes to her death unafraid. I think that is kind of what happens.
A warrior's death.
Today is a good day to die.
Aw, where's Lucky when you need him?
All right.
know.
I know where he is. He's with his little trees.
All right. Elutella.
Yes.
At this point, go ahead and give me one more physical roll. It's just 2d for you.
I don't want to.
I know.
Numbers 9.
9. Okay. You needed a 10 to sort of stay aloft. So as your wings just can't do it, you shot like 2 of them, but there's still 3. And as you eventually like fall back down, kind of like stumbling, like a couple of them jump, make a dodge roll. That's also your physical.
Okay. 2.
Fuck. There's no way.
Okay. Oh god damn it! That's 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what, I'll roll them separately because one of them definitely. So maybe this one somehow won't hit a 4. No, it does. It rolls a 6. So basically, Elutella, you sort of like are jumping up and you're trying to get away, but now these 2 things just like leap onto you.
Okay.
Please roll. I will only roll 1 damage for them though. Please roll a resist injury for me. And if you have power cubes, you may really want to use them right now.
I will use 2 power cubes.
Okay.
And that is a 6, 7, 8.
13.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. I want to get on the action.
Roll a d13 for me.
Andrew, I'm not blaming myself. I'm blaming you.
Good. I deserve it.
That doesn't feel reasonable at all.
I hope I get the next one so I can bring on the Dreadstorm.
That's a 6.
A 6.
Yes.
So no thing happens.
Okay.
You are now, you need to click the wounded box. They didn't roll much better than that, so you actually,
Yeah.
you're resisting the damage. You only go to wounded, so you're like in bad shape now.
Mm-hmm.
As these two remaining ones have bit into you, but they're, and you feel the acid like into your sort of, fortunately none are in your wings, so like it hasn't like eaten through the thin wing membranes, but there's 2 of them on you, biting into you. I'm gonna cut back to the other room. So Pascal, there are still you've weakened that point. You'll have to do some physical stuff, but you do turn around and see 2 of them are like moving through the oubliette's body and then moving back out of it. And then there is still a bowl moving around on the ground. Would you like to dispatch the rest? And Rawlings is just not helping.
I mean, that's typical. Where is it? Where's the thing that I do? Where's the do I have a, oh no, this is not the one that has the morality, does it?
It is not morality, no, it's in the other room. Although if you want to make a morality roll, roll, it's a dreadful roll then, just roll 3D. You just want to make a morality roll.
Oh yeah, that's a 2. So no, this creature is semi-phallic and has too many sacks. I'll just go ahead and it disgusts me. It's much too organic.
There.
This man, though useless, seems like he's emotionally broken, so I relate to him in a way.
Same.
So I shall attempt. Does it look as if I can? Does it look as if I can do more damage to this opening that I've done, or is that more of a thing that will take a little bit of like a little sort of Shawshank Redemption type?
You would need you suspect you would need to roll on a physical, just like on like a muscle through it roll, something in the range of like a like over 15 to really be pushing it apart, like a 20 which is busted open. Okay. So it's, since you're not like a physical build, I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to take care of these things that are harassing this weak human. Understood. Go ahead and roll another brawl. They with your 3D, they will roll their dodge. Oh! I once again roll a 1 on the dread die and a 1 on another die. So 18. With an 18, so Pascal, kind of having done this and realized this, Pascal then simply begins moving around at the 2 that are kind of coming out of her body, Rawlings, as you're crawling up onto like the salad one or whatever. Or maybe you'd actually go over to the other oubliette body because you don't have any of your food. But as you're crawling up onto an open cabinet, Pascal just like stomps the 2 on the ground, leaving like acidic splashes in their wake, and then the 1 in the bowl. We'll just Pascal, how do you handle the 1 in the bowl? What do you want to do? There's like there's an upside down bowl kind of like moving around, yeah. Oh, it's an upside down bowl? I think I'll just do one of these things where I'll just flip it and then just sort of like, use the bowl to kind of. Understood. Yeah. You just kind of flip it. Knee.
Like mortar
you just
and pestle.
Crush it, and that one, and so like, and Rawlings at this point, it does seem all of these creatures have stopped moving.
Yeah. Thank you, Pascal.
pull yourself together. Let's attempt to open this. Oh, you need to breathe, don't you?
Would this open into space?
Father.
Would this open into space?
You guys have no way of knowing. You have a window below you. You've been standing on a window above. You have no idea what's behind it.
Well,
I'll say that you don't sense any vacuum having acidically broken some seal, but you haven't like fully burst anything apart. As you two sort of look around, we're going to go back to Elutella. There's 2 of these things on you, so you're wounded now. But if you want to try to shoot them, you can do so.
Actually, can I calculate? I only have a ray gun, right? I don't have a knife.
Yeah, and honestly, they probably would have taken your ray gun away, but I guess you could have gotten it back. There was shenanigans. It's fine.
They were otherwise disposed. I will shoot them at risk to my legs, but
I get it. Go ahead and make your ray gun roll. You have a 5D in ray guns. You do take 1 penalty for being wounded, so it's only 4D for you.
Well,
if you want to cancel that out with a power cube, you can, but go ahead and do a 4D roll.
no, I'll just do 4.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Let the dice decide my fate. Those are good. 12.
And you exploded.
17. 21. Yes, 21.
All right, so because you're over 20, go ahead.
Oh, and then it was a 4, so 25.
Oh, well then with a 25 so basically, Elutella, you do, this is going to be some real, guys, again, sorry for the intense body horror that sprung up from this. So basically, Elutella,
I was ready to cut off my legs.
Like they're in your legs, you feel one digging into your leg, and you're like, it's just agony as these, as whatever, they look like maggots, so they have these really sharp teeth, on the inside, so they're slit.
Oh, like those grubs with the little pincers.
Yeah, exactly. So as
with the red head.
It's just carving its way through muscle and tendon in your leg. Elutella, you steel yourself and get your ray gun out, and you just feel it moving through your leg, and you know where it's gonna come out, and perpendicular to doing yourself no damage, as its head emerges, kind of coming up for haha, you just blast it, and the burst of it just kills it completely. So your leg is very badly wounded.
Yes.
And the other one that's in your other leg, you do sort of a similar thing, and with that, all of the wait. There were 4 in the thing, and 2 more came out. That's 6, 7. There's 5 in the room with you.
Yes.
You killed 3, then 2.
I killed 3 and 2.
5
yes.
plus 7 is 12.
Stop. No.
Evens or odds?
I don't know.
So Elutella, you fall down back. You're like, okay, fine. Everything's okay.
No, she would not ever think that. No, I will object to you trying to portray my character in a way that she would not.
Oh,
no.
Understood. Okay, well, you collapse back, agony in this.
From the pain. Yes.
You're okay, but I think they're dead. And then you hear a squelching sound, and you look over at Tattoo Dude's eye as one is kind of charging out of that, coming for you. Make another ray gun roll at 1 penalty because you're so badly wounded. So
okay.
4D for you as you try to shoot it in midair as it's jumping.
To me, it exploded again. But I did get a 1. So I got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Another 6. 18
Roll
plus
again.
5.
23. So basically, Elutella,
I thought she was going to die, and I was okay with that.
These things out of your legs, just feeling where they're going to come up, and you're like, and you sort of fall back in the pain, and you hear this, and you see out of Tattoo Guy's eye, one more leaping, and your hand automatically pull up, you just explode it in the air, a little bit of stings of acid along your legs as it explodes, but at this point, who cares?
Yeah.
And you're back there, and then you hear beep, 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 as you're looking back at the computer, as several more data packets have been delivered in the past few minutes. There are now 12 packets of data.
Can I get them?
Can you get them?
Yes. Oh, do I need access? Can I get a badge or something from a dead
Understood.
body?
Tell you what, let's cut back to the let's hear it for the boys. We're gonna cut back to the guys as you're doing this. I will tell it. The interesting thing for you is that because you have wings, even with your legs like useless at present, you actually can move around.
Yes.
Which is like that's pretty rad. So meanwhile, Rawlings and Pascal, you are digging your way. You've basically come to this wall. The acid damage, you would need a lot of like strength to muscle it open, but you know, something seems different. You are looking up at the thing above you, and this purple light is shining down. With these 12 purple lights around it, there is clearly space for only one more.
I suppose I would, if we can get out, Pascal, if you could help us get out of here before that last light turns on.
Of course. I mean, yes, that's quite obvious, isn't it?
It's quite obvious. I just wanted to say it out loud to make sure that we were on the same page.
Tell me, have you ever operated a computing machine?
Briefly, yes.
Yes. So this would be what was called a progress bar. It is nearly full.
Yes. I understand the. I understand the concept of.
I go ahead and start smashing the.
Understood.
And I'm just like, you can't hear me over the sound of you smashing.
Yeah. All right, so in that case, Pascal, go ahead and make a physical roll as you try to smash your way out.
Okay.
Can I like help by like trying to like analyze more weak spots or something? Or
sure. Why don't? Yeah, but actually that's great. Before you do that, Rawlings will sort of now that he's not in mortal danger, he'll kind of come over and try to give you a it's 4D for this. Yeah.
11.
Rawlings kind of mentions some points, and you're kind of like, yeah, that's what I was gonna fucking hit, man. Whatever. But organics. So yeah, so go ahead and make your physical roll, Pascal.
That is a 10.
A 10. So you guys, you definitely you're shaking it, but it seems pretty sturdy. And at present, neither of you have found a means of breaking through. At least not just with brute strength. And
like try to use the steak knife to pry open some bits or something and use leverage.
Sure. Rawlings, why don't you you've already tried your sort of analyzing or the figuring out. So this will just be...
Can I suggest that to Pascal, because Pascal is obviously stronger than I am, and even though leverage will increase strength, the higher the base to begin with is, the more likely it is that success will happen.
Sure. Okay. So in that case, why don't you guys make a sense roll to try to find the best thing to use? Both of you do a sense roll over under your dread.
No, that's just a 9.
Me as well?
Yeah, sure. As he's, unless you wouldn't go with that plan he's proposing.
21.
A 21. So you kind of hear what he's saying, and you're like, I see. Okay, that makes sense. And as you glance around, you're trying to find something that could be used as a good solid, a crowbar, basically. And I will say that you actually do notice that, there are some pieces of kind of fold back, plating that's in these pure white cabinets as they open. So you can kind of maybe try to pull one of those off. We'll actually say on this one, there's already a piece that was half corroded. So you can pull a crowbar off, and now you can try once more. A physical with that. Give yourself 2 extra die on your physical roll for it.
Okay. And I'll use a power cube as well. $13.
You're off the channel. That's it. We're done.
All right. Okay. I had a thought of what would happen if we made it to 13 tonight. Never thought we could. So, first of all, I'm gonna need a few D13s from you, Andrew. Thank you so much. You're definitely not off the channel. You've entered the Hall of Fame. Could you please roll a D13 for me?
8.
8.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, great. Now, roll another D13. So that was for the horror surge. There's no horror surge. But this one will definitely...
13.
You rolled a 13?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the shifting. The new domain.
That is not number 13, unfortunately. But one we've been awaiting for a long time has just popped. So, however, a lot of stuff is about to happen. So Elutella, as you're trying to like dig around and like go over and like you're looking for a thing, you, oh my god, this is amazing. Elutella, you reach, you make an investigation roll.
That is where?
That is under your mental, so it's it's whatever your mental base is.
5, 10, 13 plus 6.
Okay, I was about to say, holy smokes.
What is that? 19.
19. Oh my god. All right. With a 19, Elutella, you look around the room and you realize like the main guy you've been dealing with is probably the person you go through his pockets. You do find like a physical access card, which you then fly under pain, dragging your painful legs behind you over to the computer port. However, at this point, you look out as the drone, the large drone above them with its purple light in the middle, that light becomes a dark beam of purple light shining into the room. Pascal and Rawlings. Pascal, basically, as you're like trying to muscle the thing open, suddenly the room fills with a really thick purple light where you and Rawlings are standing.
Did you do something?
No. I think we should. This is heightened focus. Do I know the term? I can't remember. Does Rawlings know the term Dreadstorm, or what is he?
You've lived through enough of them. You know Dreadstorm, and actually, Rawlings, no other rolls required. You feel it. You can feel it dreadful in the air tonight.
There's something is about to happen.
Leaving.
We need to move. It's potentially good, potentially bad, potentially dangerous, almost certainly dangerous. We need to move now.
So as you guys are sort of doing this, Elutella, but you notice also that Elutella, as this happens, like in this brighter light, it's easier to see, another mini drone flies out from the main drone through the little thing and plugs in. And Elutella, as you're... Go ahead.
Can I open... Am I able to know that if I opened all of the doors that the... what is it called? The omniscience, the...
Awareness?
The awareness, would they then be able to come in and access things if I open
have
the door?
to plug... It's air-gapped. You have to plug this into the main network with like really long cables. You are physically separated from the network.
No, I know, but okay, never mind. I was thinking if I open doors, it could look. I don't know how the awareness works. Okay, neither does Elutella.
Elutella probably understands that the awareness seems to need either like a wireless radio wave connection or a direct plug-in, and this chamber has been built so that it's transmitting nothing. All it's doing is recording.
Right, but if I were to open the doors, like all of the doors, everyone's dead. I can now just open everything.
Yes, but what doors? What doors from where to where?
From the main. I don't really know. the main part.
Where you came in from?
Yeah, into the air gap, like everything, so it could then come in and get the Wi-Fi. But I guess it would need. Okay, never mind. There's
no Wi-Fi in here is the idea. There's no
Okay.
Wi-Fi in here. There's no receivers. There's no transmitters. It's all hardlined on a separate on a secure system. So
Fair enough.
So Elutella, but you notice that this other packet, another drone is coming in and plugging in, and you see a 13th data packet
13th one.
plugging
Yes.
on your
Of course.
and
Yes.
suddenly the screen, as that fills in with the data, are you going to the computer, or are you just
Yeah, and I'm trying to download and access and.
Okay, so you go over that. You're trying to like download all of this data packet. It's downloading, but as soon as the 13th packet downloads, you see all 13 of them arrayed on the screen. The code, matrix style, begins to form like into an image.
Well, this is unique.
Briefly, the image looks like a I'll put it into Twitch chat, but it just looks like a small like doll-like shape for a second. But then, and there's a doll, and it's funny, Elutella, it looks like the doll is like smiling at you for a second. But then the screen starts to turn sort of purple, and a highly bitmapped, rasterized image begins to like slowly load from the top down, like it's a dial-up internet connection.
Okay. I would and can I try to like override, and is nothing.
Go ahead and make a for you, I guess it would just be a hack roll. Sure, make a hack roll.
Okay. 5. Okay. That is 11, 15, 21.
Okay. Roll a opposed.
Oh no.
4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2 is 10. Plus 5 plus 6 is 21.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, whatever.
So you're trying to close stuff, but basically, Elutella, it is. Oh my god, never mind. This is so perfect. This is so exactly what it is. So Elutella, you're trying to like type and you're like, what's going on? But like for some reason, something's loading really slowly, and it has this real, like, you would have no context, but for people watching, it feels like a dial-up AOL internet connection where an image is loading. Because it's probably almost like it might be like a whole megabyte, and it's loading slowly, and it's like you can't even close the window. It's like it's just freezing as it loads.
Yeah.
In the rasterized image on top, you see a sort of like a heavily sort of like not pixelated, but that like rasterized posterized look of like a blue cloudy sky. Comes a little further down. You begin to see the top of something green. It looks like a...
Oh my gosh, it's the window screen.
As it comes down a little further, you see blonde hair. And then a little further down, you see this like woman, like looking sort of like lustily at the camera. A human. She has a very like model-like appearance. Nevertheless, there's something sort of sad in her eyes. As the screen goes lower, you see that she is wearing a rather, like, revealing... She's very well endowed. She has this very, like, revealing sort of, like, swimming costume on, like a bikini. And it looks like she's on a sandy beach.
I thought it was... Okay.
And as it kind of is going further down, it seems like there's a woman in some sort of like the moth women of Richera 6 aren't super familiar with like tropical regions of Earth, but you've maybe seen a picture of one. It looks like a woman on like an Earth beach in a bikini, like posing for the camera as if she was on like the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. Actually, roll me roll any die for me.
Okay.
We'll do evens odds.
6.
6 evens. As it happens, though, because it is this kind of stuff, it's hard to tell because it's so rasterized. It is a soft focus, but like she has this bikini on, but she's like undoing it, and you can. It's like a very suggestive image, a very soft focus of her body. Her hair is kind of like big. She has like big earrings on. It's a very You have no reference, Elutella, but basically it really looks like a 1990s Playboy or Sports Illustrated swimsuit image.
Does it have any text? Is there any metadata on this that I can?
The image is still loading slowly, but Elutella,
Okay.
there's something as you're trying to hack through, and you're doing a good job, and you're basically you're just realizing, okay, like somehow these 13 packets together are providing this. As you're like, what the hell is going on? You do seem to see the beginnings of some like text down at the bottom, but Elutella, as this is going on,
Mm-hmm.
I actually need you.
Oh no.
First, I want you to roll an insight roll. That's only 2d for you.
You know, that is a 9.
9.
Mm-hmm.
Something about this. You're also not a human. You're not familiar with their ways. You're not familiar with their stuff. But something about
I'm
this
not.
woman's expression seems
Uh-huh.
off. Even though she's like looking at the camera very
Oh, no.
suggestively, something seems strange. There's this like look in her eyes that's sort of upsetting. The image is going to the bottom, and you see in kind of like a very like gradient infused font at the bottom. Text that says Miss Voluptua apostrophe 92.
What?
Rawlings and Pascal. Oh, and then actually, Elutella, I need you to make a resist fear roll.
Okay. What is that again?
It's 2d for you.
Oh, good. You know what? I'm going to use my last power cube.
Makes sense. Why not?
I exploded.
Hey now.
So 10.
Did you do it again?
It was okay. Hear me out. It was a 13 on the first one, and I haven't rolled the. Does that count? No. Does it? Wait.
What's
hold
the
on.
total?
7, 8, 9, 10,
And then you
11,
roll
12, 13. But I have not rolled this
Yeah.
yet.
No, it doesn't count
Okay.
then.
Plus 4,
So
17. Wait.
17.
Yes, I
So-
can do math.
Something about this image feels very suddenly upsetting. You feel your heart beating quick. Obviously, you're kind of half going into shock because of the literal holes burrowed through your legs. But you manage to kind of like control yourself, and you close the image, and you now see that all of this data has downloaded to the hard drive core. Or the data tapes, however we're doing it in our sci-fi thing. Basically, we'll call it a hard drive core. There's a hard drive core below you, and you have downloaded all 13 packets onto it. And though they seem corrupt and something seems strange, and this image was on it, you now have that core. You could grab the core if you wanted to.
I will take it and find the nearest exit,
Understood.
dragging myself and the core with my.
Understood.
Wait. I imagine my legs still work, but my wings are working as like more of a crutch.
Understood.
Like they're like I'm still able to use my legs, but I'm lifting pressure, so I'm not
Perfect.
hovering.
I follow completely. So Elutella, as you begin moving to the thing, I will say, because you do have good sense, you do sort of look out and you can see, like up here, you can look into the room and like see parts of it from them down there, and you do see that the room is covered in purple light. You're not sure. You think Rawlings and Pascal are actually.
I think I'm assuming everyone is dead.
You are assuming it was that. That's fine. So.
I have no hopes of seeing anyone, but if I do,
then Elutella,
good.
you make for the exit. Great.
Cool.
Love it. Rawlings and Pascal. The room fills with purple. And Rawlings, you understand what's going on, and then suddenly there does seem to be a little bit of purple mist in the chamber around here. And Rawlings, you hear a strange instrument. Pascal, you hear it as well. It sounds kind of like it's like metal but echoey, almost like somebody like made a drum out of steel, and it could be like bum 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 ba dum ba dum bum ba dum ba dum bum ba dum ba dum. Kind of, there's this like steel drum sound that you two hear.
Am I able to make any inferences yet about where this, like, which domain this is coming from? And then if so, do I remember which side this domain is on?
Shit, you know everything. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot. Rawlings, I'm so sorry that we had to do that shenanigans. Rawlings,
Occult knowledge?
you know what I want you to do. Make it occult knowledge, buddy.
Oh no, that is bad.
Uh-oh.
That's on 6D. I rolled 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and one of the ones is my dread die. So that's
Get rid of the one of the three.
that's 7. So
Rawlings, you have no sense of what which
I'm
domain
stressed.
this could be. God, I'm trying to think of even you think maybe it's this place Paradise is everyone talking about? There's something almost angelic about the sound. You're not
yeah.
sure.
I'm just gonna keep. I'm like every new piece of information. I'm gonna keep trying to figure it out.
Understood as you do this. But, Rawlings, you then hear the lapping of water. This makes you think of the grave marshes.
Right.
The grave marshes, that's where Oogle Tlur, the Mistbreaker, is from.
Yeah.
And as you look down, you notice that the purple mist is actually moving from the circular window in the floor of this room. And you think there's water filling it. And Rawlings, I think that you, the grave marshes actually, you were in another Dreadstorm from the grave marshes.
Yes.
As far as you can tell, in the thing where it filled up, so you're like, oh my god, I wonder if this whole thing's gonna fill with water. But it's weird. You can hear, like, in the mist, these like sounds of these sounds of this kind of like steel drum and other sort of songs, and you almost hear people going like ha, 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 cha da cha 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 cha. Like you hear like sounds of like revelry and like laughter. It's very strange. You can't think of what dark rites might be happening in the grave marshes, but you do feel water lapping around there in the middle of the room.
Just gonna look at Pascal and say, I understand you're doing what you can. We need to go as soon as we can. I don't know where this is going to take us if we stay.
Let's go. I've been saying, yes, let's go. I'm doing my very best to get out of here.
I know, and I appreciate your work.
I'm gonna try to get out. I want to try to get out. As like this purple light is horrible. I'm gonna
All right.
try to.
Pascal, make another physical roll with No, you've already tried that. You haven't shifted the. You still haven't been able to shift open the thing. You guys are pushing forward. Go ahead and try it again. I'll say it's just a physical roll. This time, only one extra dice with the extra.
All right, I'm gonna use my last 2 power cubes.
Understood.
I look forward to rolling another 13.
God, it would be you have rolled a shocking number tonight.
I mean, I do.
19.
Is this the most 13s we've ever rolled?
No, 19. 19.
He has a
no, but-
19. It is. I certainly think that tonight is one of the. I mean, Andrew rolled 3 13s. People have gotten more 13s, but this is one of the most we've physically rolled them all. But there have been other nights where we've had more.
But I also
We've had
rolled
6
two 13s on my D13 as well.
That's what has been wild.
Because you're
but only one of those triggered a horror surge. The other finally got us to Voluptua, which I've been teasing forever. Because
True.
the fleecing schemester likes bikini magazines. All right. Pascal, I feel this is one of the situations where, as a DM, I sort of like, I want to do stuff, but I also need to honor it. I'd even said aloud, it's a 20 to sort of break the thing down.
Yep.
So you are wedging it open. Neither of you can fit through yet.
Okay.
But Rawlings, at this point, as it's like he's pushed it open, and you can see, and there seems to be like a chamber back there. But Rawlings, you hear something like moving in the water. And as you look over, there's this like woman coming out of the water like in slow motion. She's wearing like a bikini, and she's just like looking up, like her hair like slicked back as she's pushing herself up, her CG boobs, you know, shaking, or like that kind of fighting game. It's just
They
real.
didn't have CG back then.
That's fair. Well, okay, fine. The point, it's Playboy.
Pointy boobs.
Just give me
Yeah,
more
exactly.
information. I need to figure out where this is coming from.
Go ahead and make another. Go ahead and make another dread domain, a dread occult knowledge roll.
Okay, that's much better. That's 26.
26. You're like, you go, oh.
Yeah.
This must be those bewitching sirens of Voluptua. But she's sort of pushing her way out and going, oh my god. Like, this place seems weird.
Do I remember which? Do you remember? I remember one, the name of the Dread Lord of Voluptua, and two, do I remember which side they're on?
You do remember both of those things. The Dread Lord of Voluptua is Dane Varnson Jr. DAANVAERNSEN Jr. He is one of the Mistbreakers.
I'm just gonna turn to Pascal and go. We should keep going.
Wait, where are you guys going? Where are we? This is crazy.
This is we were in Rocket Base 95, Sector 95.
Oh my god. That's like so interesting. She just like leans forward. It says, are you two new? What is this, like your cabin? Oh my god, this is crazy. She then sees the body of Juliet and says, oh, is that a squid? Weird. Oh my god, it's so gross. Did you guys kill it? That's so brave. Rawlings, please make a dreadful roll. Pascal, she also says some flirtatious words to you and has no effect.
That is only. I'm rolling so terribly for the most part tonight. That is a 6.
A 6. Love it. So Rawlings, you're kind of looking at her, and suddenly something about her is just so charming. Yes. And she's just kind of like, I guess technically, wait, I should roll again. Yes, I roll ludicrously over a 6 because her die exploded as well. She's just like, oh my god, that's so funny. Hey, what are you still doing wearing your like work clothes? Come for a swim. And Rawlings, it sounds like the best thing in the world.
Does that sound delightful. Pascal, maybe we should go swimming.
Come swim. It's gonna be so fun. I have so many people for you to meet. There's a party going on.
As long as I don't have to eat anything.
We're just
well. Oh my god, I'm being so bad.
Yes. Cunnilingus humor is quite interesting. So
oh my god, your friend talks so crazy. You guys should both like take off your shirts and lighten up a little bit. Come on in, the water's really warm. And then she like giggles and like splashes you, and sure enough, the water is salty and warm.
I'm going to attempt to finally just get the hell out of here.
Understood. So go ahead and make one last physical roll. Make it just a straight physical roll, but you only need a 15 to like wedge your way out.
I mean, I don't know if that's... That's very unlikely. No, that's a 10.
A 10. I'll tell you what then, Pascal, because you are not physical though. If you want to push your way through regardless, you might receive an injury. You can roll a resist injury, but you can push your way through. You might like rip some synth flesh off, but the hole is physically, you might be able to pass if you really want to get out of here.
How much? I'm going to pause, and I'm going to turn back to this woman, and I'm going to say, would you happen to know how to repair and I'm going to give her the serial number of my tongue antenna?
She looks at you like, oh my god, you're so uptight. And she's like, you guys should come on, get in the water already. And Rawlings, the strangest thing happens to you. Pascal, it doesn't happen to you, but Rawlings, it suddenly seems like the world goes to a 4:3 like aspect ratio, and you're almost like watching yourself. And it's like all these like cross-dissolve shots of her like laughing in the water and you like taking your shirt off. And just like pans up your body and like pans of her like laughing and splashing and pans of Pascal like watching from the side, and also like this like kind of like smooth jazz music begins to play, like
Oh yeah.
as you're like doing this, and she's like haha, and it's just like cutting back and forth. Pascal, you just watch Rawlings has this like weird dazed look, and she seems I'll say no roll required, she has no idea what you're talking about, Pascal.
Okay. And right, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze my way through.
All right, so basically, Pascal, please make a resist injury roll.
Rawlings is cute, but not that cute. 18.
I will say with that you probably like there's some new gashes in your synth skin, but you already got it all acided out. Pascal, you managed to push your way through the small opening. Hey, now that's what Pascal Rawlings will be doing soon. And as you get yourself into this like little chamber back there, the mist is all behind you. You seem to be, you know, in this thing, and you actually see there's like a locked door ahead of you. About 10 feet, you're in some kind of chamber, and it looks like there's some shelves back here. You actually see a bunch of like vanilla creme brulee and a torch ready to like do it, as if they were gonna put in some more food soon, but now they're all dead. Pascal, as you're sort of making your way to this concourse, make a sense roll for me.
Okay, sense.
Oh my god, I'm really into this. This is fun. 6. So Pascal, you kind of look out and you don't see anyone, but there is a door back here, and actually the door is not even locked. So you're able to open a door. Missing completely that Elutella has just run up on like a slightly like a catwalk above you. She's just left, but you didn't spot her. But if you want to begin trying to just make your way away, you can do so.
Yes.
Rawlings.
Yes.
As like this like scene is happening of like laughing stuff, and she's like putting down her like bikini strap and pulling it back up and like are you going to get into the water?
I mean, it seems infinitely more pleasant than anything I've experienced in this domain, so.
Oh my god. And come, like, you don't, I mean, we have like, there's like a tiki bar. You can get we have like the best like pina coladas.
I don't think I know what that is, but
it's like it's kind of like it's like a frozen smoothie with alcohol in it. It's so good.
It's a drink.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's all I need. It's the only information I need.
So as you get into the water, she takes your hand and pulls you below. The water is warm. And she takes you to Voluptua. Pascal, I'm going to say sort of for sake of efficacy here, Elutella, what is your plan? Are you just going back to that ship you came in on?
Yes. I will go back to the ship and attempt to communicate with the why can't I remember the name? Welcome Raiders, by the way.
The awareness.
Yes,
hello,
the awareness.
Raiders. So as you sort of like pulled out, as you're sort of making your way back to the ship, you do look back and you sort of see a lot of people are like moving around, kind of like a couple people maybe give you a look, but you. Oh, actually, no, you're bleeding really bad. Like, people are, like, looking at you crazily. Pascal, you step out. You looked into that room and saw, like, the dead people in there kind of, like, through a window and were like, nope. So, Pascal, as you sort of step out through another chamber that was locked from the, like, you can leave, but you can't come into it. As you sort of step out here, you look at a trail of blood that you've kind of been following, and hovering about, like, 20 feet ahead of you as some people are approaching her, you see Elutella, who you knew sort of in the shroud. You were with her for a time. Oh, you're muted.
My tongue. I'm going to holler at her. Well, actually, hold on. Let me take stock of the situation. The other people that are around her, do they seem like they're hostile towards her?
No, they seem like, what the hell are you doing covered in blood in the middle of this research center? They're like they're more worried or just confused or surprised.
I'm going to then start sprinting towards her and start trying to wave her down like a taxi.
Okay.
Pascal.
Help.
I have information that I must. It is imperative that I get this information to someone very important.
I will help you. That's the best thing I've heard. That is literally the best thing I've ever heard in weeks.
Pascal, actually, you know what? I should have had you do this. Give me a let's try to make your day even a little bit better. Pascal, would you please roll for me just a mental investigate roll?
A mental investigate.
So 3D for you, yeah. Or even analyze, make it 4D. Let's
20.
With a 20, I'm gonna say that actually you probably haven't. You can click it back in. As you were going through that, you did see like an area. You found your in those passages. As you've been following after her, you found your tongue.
Okay, and then like
and
as I'm running
tentacle.
through, I was like, no, I can do it for. I can what? Wait, what?
As he's showing that like he's got like this like antenna coming out of his throat and he's so excited. You do notice some like security people are like, what the hell's going on? Wait, are you guys coming out of the air gap?
No. Oh, I'm gonna try to transmit everything that I've seen. No, I just want to make my way to her.
Understood. So in that case, you and Elutella just basically, this is you guys fleeing, just give me physical rolls. I know this is not your highest stat for either of you, but this is just your last ditch trying to get the hell off the station.
Fuck me. 4.
15.
I'm actually going to say that Elutella, with you exploding, as he's kind of like trying to get to you, you can like reach out to him and start dragging him along with you. You're just like really pumping your wings, just knowing you've got to get off here. There's a crowd enough that the security guys can't get to you, and you are able to make it back to that hangar and that ship that the Gascanian came on with Rawlings that you stowed away on. Interestingly, though, Elutella, once you're in this section with this core, and you and Pascal are moving, a funny thing starts happening. You step through doors, they close behind you. Other doors open. The security guards are being prevented from getting to you. And once again, much like the way you were led to this area, you're no longer in the air-gapped section of this station. So now suddenly, like, lights are turning on, like, telling you go this way, go that way. As you pass, you guys see locked doors with security guys, like, on their radios, like, trying to pry them open. Something's going on in the system. The system is basically, Elutella, no roll required. Understand that the awareness, now that he can see you on all the cameras, he is making sure you get to that ship. And in fact, as you run to the hangar, the ship is already on.
And I will tell Pascal, I have a safekeeper.
What?
I have a safekeeper. Someone that will keep us safe. I must get this information to the ship and keep it safe. Will you help me?
Of course. Here. And
Let's go.
Well, I just go ahead and start. I want to just send a mega transmission.
Okay, so you're just as you're basically Elutella's like dragging you as you're just like transmitting out your as you're sort of doing this.
Like the whole thing about like the lights and the other dread domain and
Perfect.
the fact that Liv is the new dread lord and all of it.
Oh, I don't
know that actually.
You don't know that part, yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah. You've got you'll transmit all that you learned.
I want to be a good little robot.
Well, there's gonna be some interesting stuff because you're transmitting to Arlington Grith, the people Elutella's trying to get away from, but no one knows that yet. So there'll be some fun stuff later, but as the two of you rush aboard that shuttle, it, via autopilot controlled by some networked thing, begins to race away from the station.
Can I, before you cut away, can I plug in the hard drive to the ship?
Mm-hmm.
And start downloading all of the information?
Absolutely. And sure enough, on one of the screens, you see slowly loading that same image. And as you do that, racing away from this AG sort of research site, that is where we'll end tonight's session. Now, there's an interesting thing going on here, everyone. There are a lot of people in a lot of places. So, what I'd actually like all of you to do now is please roll me. Let's keep the spirit of this. All of you please roll me 4D.
Or D13? Okay, 4D.
No, roll 4D right now. This will sort of
I know, I had mine ready.
Are we using a exploding die for this?
Jesus fucking.
No exploding die.
What did you do, Andrew? What did you do to us?
Well, I just rolled a 5, a 4, and a 1, and a 3.
It's
Nice.
13. Well, so this happens. There's no effect other than this. We're keeping it a little higher. So we do go to 1. Thank you for that, Andrew.
I rolled a 15.
15 for Rawlings. Elutella,
Did you also
what'd
roll
you roll?
13, Lauren?
I rolled a 5, a 4, a 3, and a 1.
I'm so bad. I haven't rolled a 13 all night.
All right.
Welcome.
So,
So for those of you in the chat who don't know from the Raiders, thank you so much for joining. We're now out of RPG, so we can talk. Don't apostrophe this. Don't you dare bring this evil on us. Whenever we roll a natural 13, it counts against us and for the DM for him to torture us more.
well, I mean,
You want to give more details, Philip?
no, it seems about right.
And for some godforsaken reason, me and Pascal over here have been rolling 13s all night. At this point, more than I think we ever have.
I have rolled more D13s in this session than I have the entire over a year of streaming.
Yes, that is absolutely
Yeah. I don't know what's in the air.
Wait, but why did we roll these 4D, Philip?
So,
Oh, no.
what we were just doing, I'm gonna roll one as well though for another option here. So real quick, I gotta roll one. But right now, Dan, you are leading with what you rolled. Okay, I only rolled a 12. I rolled 3 2s and a 6. By the way, I'm just gonna show them off. These are these awesome Star Wars dice from Black Oak Workshop, where the 6 is going to hyperspace and the rest is like from the cabin of the Millennium Falcon. I really like these. I use these as my dread die, but this time I roll a 4. All right, so I rolled lowest. So Dan, as it happens, what we were just rolling for was which domain we're going to go to. Had Andrew won, we were going to stay with Pascal and Elutella. Had Lauren won, we were going to go to Mercher to check in with our friend Sarah Quill. But Rawlings, you just won.
The power of the women compels me.
So next week, as I seemingly always have to do when starting another game, because I'm starting a new game on Monday, but I'm also starting a brand new domain on Friday. So 1 week from tonight, get ready for a domain called Voluptua. that is influenced by the Fleecing Schemesters collection of softcore pornography.
I should have gone there.
Well, you're going to be there as a different character next week.
Oh, great. Perfect.
So that's where the focus will be shifting to. Of the Bikini Girls. Get ready for the invocations. They're great. So with that, I want to say that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Next week, we'll begin Blood from a Stone. Session 59, we'll be starting Blood from a Stone, Voluptua. It's going to be an interesting vibe. I want to thank all my players so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed this wild final. I gotta say, I really did like these last few rocket space like weird stuff here in this.
I genuinely thought that when that horror search happened, I genuinely thought that was the end of Rawlings.
Oh, I thought it was too, but
I thought Amatella was dead for sure.
You guys, you managed to. You guys, honestly, I think it's Pascal just being resistant to.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Pascal just absorbing it, and we did kind of like sacrifice. Oh God, I got a text Liv. We just killed Liv. maybe there's a post-credit scene on this episode where people are like, wait, this oubliette's alive, and they're putting her into like a restoration tank. We'll see if that's necessary. Let me tell you about some fun stuff we have coming up. And also, our players are amazing. Thank you so much, players. Please go to our About page to see the cool stuff they do.
Wait,
also,
before
go to
people leave, our TikTok is how many away? 4 away from 1K, which means we can stream. So if you have a TikTok, if you could follow Long Lost Lore, obviously no spaces on TikTok, that would be great. We've got a lot of informational videos. I present them. Our DM writes them, full disclosure, but I am learning a lot. So now in real life, I can talk about these things. That's true. However, 4 away, and then we can live stream. So follow us there.
So yeah, we can do lives on TikTok, which means something. So do that. Go to our About page. Also, I know that go to our Discord where you can find out about a lot of what we do. And I know that on our Discord we also have a promotions page where some of our players will just post stuff they're up to. So keep an eye out for that as well. On Sunday, we got an important game. It's a Star Wars one-shot. It's called the 18th Annual Nathor Life Day Special Pageant and Fireworks Spectacular, presented by Mrs. Got It. Come check it out. It's going to be interesting. Dan, I know you can't make it to that, but if all your plans wind up changing, you should definitely pop in for that one. On Monday, brand new Star Wars game, Civilized Age begins. What's going on in Civilized Age already, just with the characters that have been rolled. I know Dan and Lauren are going to have a hell of a lot of fun in this one. Oh, yeah. This is a game set over 600 years after the end of the Rise of Skywalker. So we're in the far future, in a time kind of in a sort of swashbuckling age. In the future of Star Wars. It's just some real fanficky nonsense.
It is still in a galaxy far, far away, but it is in a time slightly less long ago.
Yes, it is not quite so long ago in a galaxy far away. So yeah, please come and join us for that. It's going to be a really fun one. And then on Tuesday, we'll be back with Murder by Murder, our Agatha Christie game, which has also been super fun. We were off this past week for that, so join us for that. And then 1 week from tonight, Blood from a Stone Voluptua.
Am I supposed to wear just a swimming trunks next week?
Are you allowed to be topless on Twitch?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. If you are. Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. But in any case, thank you all so much for watching.
Or a tank top and I'll have like a big pina colada with an umbrella.
And don't actually use it, but like have like your nose white with like the really serious very good. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. It's super appreciated.
Hold on. We had a couple raids tonight. Let me look at them.
Please. Yeah, Murder Hobos and Chocobros raided with 7 people.
Thank you.
And then Rep RPG recently raided with 18 people, so thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for all of that. It's so appreciated.
Pen Jenkins gave out a sub. Yeah.
And Minnesota Twins, a real one. Yeah. Always here. He showed up at the end and he's just like, I'm going to have to watch the recap. He asked how it went, and I said it was unhinged.
It
Wild.
was, we had a lot of, it was a lot of 13s.
If it had been more unhinged, maybe we would have been able to get out of that room quicker.
I felt
Yeah.
there is
No
there
hinge.
is that thing where sometimes you've got to stick to the. I'm very glad Pascal was able to squeeze out with probably a couple of pieces of metal showing under the skin at this point, but he's escaped.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug anything, Andrew?
Oh, I'm so okay. On Tuesdays, yes, I stream indie games and talk about the gaming industry on Tuesdays from 5 to 7. Andrew is trying. That's Pacific time.
There you go.
We're
Andrew's
making our way
trying
through
5
today
p.m.
right now.
Pacific. Guys, Andrew is trying. Seems like a great. Andrew's trying streaming some indie games. Feels like a really good thing to do. before
And you
start
can
watching
find the
actual
link
movies.
to his Twitch channel in the
In the
About
About
section.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep, come and follow, and we'll have some good times. You
Yes.
can watch me struggle with my stream lighting.
That's the
Very
that's the
wholesome.
eternal thing. I'm gonna adjust my stream lighting. Hold on.
That's
There you
the free chat for all of our games on this channel for me. Is me trying to figure out my hair and my lighting. So I get it.
Both look great tonight, Lauren.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate everybody so much. Until next time, have a dreadful night.